And hello reefers, and welcome back for another video. So today we're going to take a look at my fish room and check in to see how my upgrade to all Noopsyche lighting is progressing. So a little over a month ago, I decided to standardize all of the lighting in my fish room to make things a little easier to control. Being an LFS, I have access to just about anything that I want, and taking this into consideration, I had to do a few tests to determine what my next lighting was going to be. Now, from a cost perspective, Noopsyches came out on top, but not in the way you think. If this was all about money, then I clearly could have just busted out some black boxes and went with that. And I did try them out. But that was not what I was after. My goal was to find something that could rival all of the big names out there while offering the spread and growth that I was looking for, and in a power package that I could stomach every month. So now, this isn't going to be a sponsored video. I needed to carefully consider my options before settling in on just one. So after testing the Noopsyches for about 3 months, I haven't looked back. So here are the numbers. Most of the tanks are 48 by 24 by 10 inches high, with one of them being 12 inches high. And I'm using 2 Noopsyches at 20 inches above the water, mounted parallel to the tank, and each light comes in at around 12 inches from the ends of the tank, which are then mounted to 1.5-inch square pieces of sealed prime wood. Each fixture is then hung from the ceiling by a stainless steel DIY hanging kit. In total, I'm controlling 14 Noopsyche K7 LED fixtures and 2 Noopsyche 48-inch hybrid T5 fixtures. The tanks are a mix of LPS and softies, with one tank being a mixed reef and 2 tanks being SPS only. For these 2 tanks, I'm also using a 4-bulb ATI Blue Plus with 2 K7s in each Noopsyche hybrid fixture. I must say that overall the combination is nasty. Corals look great under the light, and all of them are doing very well. As far as coverage is concerned, I easily cover the 48-inch tank with enough par to grow anything I want. Now, it's important to remember that during my testing, the only real flaw that I had with the Noopsyche K7s was the controller. However, I feel that this is very subjective looking back at it. In months of having the fixtures, I have only ever picked up the controller a handful of times, and this was actually to just film the tanks themselves or take pictures of corals. Simply put, I just don't find myself needing anything more complicated than a few button presses to change all the lights to the necessary spectrum to photograph or just show off corals. Compared to my ReefLink and $800 Radions, my Noopsyche controller has never lost connectivity to the lights, and I don't need an internet connection, laptop, or phone to control any of the lights. Once I found the spectrum I like, I program the lights, and a simple button press allows me to change all of the lights for filming, photography, or maintenance. In other words, there is something beautiful about simplicity at its core, and I can't say anything other than these lights are extremely simple to use. Just about any spectrum looks amazing. The corals look great. The blues look great. They work well with Billy Pipe's glasses and just about any other phone clip-on thing that you want to use for taking photographs. And it's easy, it's simple, and they're so cheap. Now then, with the lighting out of the way, let's turn to filtration. My 350-gallon display has over 10K in filtration. I'm not bragging. Actually, I'm crying so hard inside that my 2-year-old hasn't cried in over a year after seeing me do it. What I mean is that for 1/10 of what it costs to filter my actual display, I have 10 times the amount of livestock and 100 times easier maintenance in my fish room than I do in my display. I'm a firm believer in HIHO, or heavy in and heavy out. This means that our entire filtration was designed to allow broadcast feeding of corals, heavy doses of phytoplankton and aminos, and a constant supply of microfauna. So we accomplish this in a few ways. Step 1 is that we employ a live rock pool. This means that 100% of the live rock in this system is in one tank that does not change. Once a year, we siphon the visible amount of detritus that accumulates at the bottom of that tank using a 1/2-inch tube, but that's all. The live rock pool also has a small amount of flow and dumps directly into one of 2 common sumps. On the other side, there's a Marine Pure, 6 blocks, and a Death Star ball of Chaeto. This Chaeto goes from basketball to Death Star in about 3 weeks. When we prune the Death Star, we also siphon the settled detritus that accumulates there. For lighting, the Chaeto ball, we use the same 100-watt Amazon CLB lighting for $30 that we found on Amazon. It works amazingly well. Both the rock pool and the Chaeto dump directly into equally sized common sumps that are connected together using 1-inch pipe. They house the return pumps and the filter socks. Normally, we don't run filter socks often. However, during major cleaning, we will run them for a few days just to polish the water. Carbon is changed once a month and is run in 2 BRS Deluxe reactors powered by 2 MaxiJet 1200s. Since our filtration renders the water very low in nutrients, we utilize dosers to dose alk, magnesium, and calcium. To date, at full load and maintaining an alk of 8.3, we go through about 2 gallons of BRS alk and 3 gallons of calcium each month. Magnesium is about 1 gallon every 2 months, and dosing occurs every hour. Feeding occurs every other day. We feed a mixture of phyto, aminos, reefroids, benefits, and reef chili, and we mix it all into a slurry that is then broadcast fed. We feed with flow on fully and the returns turned off for around 2 hours. Then everything is turned back on and the skimmer is left off for another 6 hours. In a nutshell, running the fish room is not the most difficult part of my hobby. I would have to say the most difficult part is actually making sure that I don't skimp on maintenance or skip my feedings. As with anything else, having someone else to periodically check your work or examine the corals with a fresh eye is always helpful. I spend about an hour each day checking the fish room and surveying the livestock. I hope this helps anyone thinking of extending their hobby in this way with some tips and ideas. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed this closer look at the farm and how things run. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. It's motivation to keep making content, and since my channel isn't monetized, all you're telling me is that you like my stuff and want me to keep producing it. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and as always, I'll catch you all on the flip side.